You know that moment when everything clicks into place, that split second where the bully's mask slips, and you see the fear in their eyes, the realization that they've pushed too far, tangled with the wrong person, and now the tide's turning against them with the force of a summer squall ripping across the water. Yeah, that's the look on Gloria Patterson's face when I stood there, on my weathered dock, arm outstretched toward those bright red no trespassing signs I'd just hammered into the earth myself, the kind that scream ownership and boundaries in bold letters. While her fancy speedboat drifted aimlessly, engine coughing to a halt like it knew the game was up, the humid August air thick with the scent of algae and betrayal as 24 neighbors lined the shoreline, their whispers building like distant thunder, watching this self-proclaimed queen of the cul-de-sac turn paler than the foam on the waves. It wasn't just about the lake anymore, no. This was deeper, a web of deceit unraveling right there in front of my guests who'd come for a simple barbecue, but ended up witnesses to a showdown that exposed Gloria's grand scheme to slap our slice of paradise without a clue. But oh, how wrong she was, how deliciously mistaken. And as I felt the sun beat down on my neck, memories of my grandfather Henry flooding back like the gentle lapping of the water against the pilings, I couldn't help but smile inside, knowing this was justice brewing, slow and sure. What would you do if your neighborhood association tried to snatch your local busybodies have pulled stunts that make this seem tame? Let me rewind a bit, pull you into the heart of it all, because this didn't start with boats and signs. It began with a phone call that shattered my world in Phoenix, where I was grinding through days as a structural engineer, fresh off a messy divorce that left me questioning every blueprint I'd ever drawn, every foundation I'd peacefully, leaving me his sprawling estate on Silver Lake in Lakeside Haven, Minnesota, a whopping 920 acres of rolling hills and 2.7 miles of untouched shoreline that he'd tended like a sacred old boards and the earthy aroma of pine sap mingling with bait buckets. The property a haven with its grand lodge, scattered cabins, private ramp, even the ruins of an old 1880s sawmill that he'd always sworn we'd rebuild together someday. That's when Gloria Patterson entered the picture, a force of nature in her early 50s, dubbing herself the Evergreen Estates Neighborhood Enhancement. Always decked out in crisp golf attire, though I'd never seen her swing a club, cruising in her silver Mercedes with plates reading Neighborhood Pride, exuding that peculiar vibe of someone drunk on the illusion of control. She appeared on my doorstep precisely 8 days after I settled in, armed with a binder bulging with forms, her grin sharp as a fillet knife, the rustle of documents competing with her overpowering floral scent that hinted at hidden agendas, declaring we needed to formalize my grandfather's casual understandings with the residents, pulling out a 52-page waterfront utilization pact demanding $14,000 yearly for upkeep, insisting it codified long-standing implied access now that the land had passed to a newcomer, her tone dripping with condescension as everything soon, watching her expression harden like ice forming on the lake's surface in early winter. The real clash ignited the next Saturday when I threw a casual get-together for 10 old buddies, ran a private club, proclaiming that Grandpa Henry respected proper protocols, the awkwardness thickening like smoke as my friends began folding chairs and heading out, the party deflating under her glare, leaving me alone that night, staring at the stars reflecting on the water, a pang in my chest as I wondered if I was dishonoring his memory by not rolling over. Driven by that doubt, I delved deeper into his office, discovering a concealed compartment behind the bookcase. Turns out Grandpa Henry had a flair for the dramatic, part archivist, part sleuth, revealing a walnut box crammed with ancient titles, boundary charts, and riparian entitlements from the 1920s, one in particular sparking a triumphant grin. The Silver Lake Riparian Entitlement of 1924, duly executed. And it hit me then that Gloria wasn't merely overreaching. She was orchestrating a shakedown on land she had no claim to, a realization that shifted my sorrow to resolve, because this wasn't harmless meddling. It was calculated theft, and she'd chosen poorly in underestimating me. Monday dawned with a rude awakening, a sternly worded directive wedged under my wiper blade, flapping like a era, her kitchen redolent of apple pie and outrage as she poured me coffee strong as her opinions, recounting how Gloria descended like a whirlwind, suddenly imposing charges after Grandpa Henry's decades of open-handedness. Next, Robert Hayes, the former educator 2 doors over, unloaded the stunner. Gloria had extracted $250 monthly waterfront dues from 25 households for 3 years, raking in close to $6,000 a month for phantom services, like the Millers, a fresh-faced clan drawn by budget-friendly lakeside dreams, now forking over $3,000 annually while their little ones puzzled over why swimming suddenly cost money when the old man never asked for a dime. Armed with that, I hunkered down at the county registry with Clerk Laura, the air heavy with dusty tomes and whirring survey etched private control crystal clear to the high-water mark. Feeling fortified, I was jolted Thursday by a rap at the door. Officer Daniels from the sheriff's office, cap tucked under arm, looking sheepish as he cited complaints of intimidation and vandalism against me, alleging I'd wrecked a public notice board and menaced locals, and I couldn't suppress a chuckle, spreading my records across the counter like a winning hand, explaining the absurdity, his jaw dropping as truth dawned, muttering he'd been duped into policing the rightful owner. We rolled up to Gloria's place. Together, her tending geraniums in full sportswear, smirk evaporating quicker than morning mist when Officer Daniels laid out the facts, her hose clattering to the pavement amid sprinkles. The fertilizer's tang underscoring her panic as she babbled about communal traditions, but I interjected smoothly, noting that voluntary sharing differed vastly from extortion, and just like that, ripples spread. 4 families halted payments overnight. The bait shop owner buzzed about the rift. Robert volunteered legal digs. Yet Gloria doubled down, slapping another ultimatum on my door. She was escalating, and I had to gear up for the fray. By Tuesday, her nerve peaked with a flyer in my box hyping a residents' assembly Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Theme: shoreline entitlements and hazard. With misty eyes, pleading not to ban their swims, twisting my gut like a knotted line. This was manipulation pure, weaponizing innocence against me. I countered by probing township filings for event clearances, the no-frills clerk shaking her head at Gloria's antics, confirming no approvals, no coverage, no validity, advising a tip to the state prosecutor, her office humming with Java and toner, as she supplied deeds for adjacent parcels, unveiling that 4 other clans held their own beachfronts, meaning Gloria had bilked folks who owed her nothing. Thursday night, I gatecrashed her. Spectacle at the hall, chairs crammed with 45 souls, snacks on flimsy tables, Gloria commanding the front with slides like a CEO, fluorescents buzzing over stale brew and anxiety as she flashed pics from my shindig as overcrowding proof, sermonizing on risks and depreciations, insisting expert oversight averted ruinous suits. I bided time till queries, rising to inquire her mandate source. The room hushing as her hues shifted wildly, mumbling traditions and Grandpa Henry's nods. Then I distributed registry duplicates, papers shuffling like whispers of revelation, declaring the 1924 gratis ethos. Gloria bolted with her device, yelling lawyer threats, the space erupting in debates as 14 households sought repayment guidance. Laura Nguyen, the diner proprietor, proposing factual forums over fiction. But dawn brought stakes ribboned for subdivision around my bounds. A county call exposing a probe for communal rec hub on my turf. Gloria pivoting from dues to coerced divestment, her piracy evolving. Certified post detonated Friday from Lakeshore Progress Partners, as dubious as her creds, urging alliance over opposition in enhancement ventures. Fixes, Evelyn denying dev consent, Robert baffled by illumination pretexts. Fraud, plain and perilous, especially amid aquatic regs. Meanwhile, her press push painted me as coastal blocker in the Gazette, quoting shadows on my greed, snapping my warnings beside wistful youths. Pressure mounted with drop-ins, Mrs. Jenkins wringing hands over fence rumors, little Tommy Thompson offering chores for privileges, his cookie scent amplifying the ache, but Gloria's nadir, alleging I'd bar rescue crafts, implying I'd doom drowners for spite, her sociopathy glaring. Laura Nguyen flagged tourism. Queries, my sleuthing uncovering her revenue projections. $60 launch hires, $30 swims, $250 permits, eyeing my lake as her ATM. I enlisted attorney Victoria Kane from St. Paul, expert in land feuds. Her verdict stark: fraud verging on cabal. Log all, shun clashes, let her burrow deeper, warning prolonged scraps despite victory, her wager on my fold. Factions formed, Evelyn's loyalists versus Gloria's dupes, neutrals craving peace. Her next salvo a township gripe on my site's perils. Dim lights, rickety docks, absent guards, demanding takeover. Yet I gleaned her flaw: lies begot lies. Tobacco ghosts, his adage ringing, secrets veil openly. Combo my birth date, sentimental as ever. Beneath deeds, state environ letters from 97 to 18, seals gleaming. Then jackpot, Silver Lake tagged. Hands trembling over classifications, shielding rare mollusks and indigenous base. Any build near shore, mandating Fed reviews. Gloria's visions flouting for environ statutes. $55,000 daily fines. Looming. Irony peaked. As guardian, I must foster public entry for learning and fun, sans charges or sham orgs. Her pleas already enshrined, but pure. Victoria hooped over the line. Deeming Grandpa Henry genius, me invincible, her app sparking Fed probe into her cons, elevating to felony fraud. Advantage immense. Pivot from hoarder to protector, offering ramps, lessons. Galas via funds, eclipse her vows legally. Per Victoria, let her push, Feds unveil deceit in audits, while I rebrand as eco-champ. Sunday, I poured Grandpa Henry's visions, ramp sketches, signs. With Evelyn, Robert, Laura and Gwen, Victoria from afar, her maps like invasion plans, vowing hero status amid Gloria's self-sabotage. Tactic trifold. 1. Environ shield. Victoria alerted EPA on. Illicit bids, auto-probing. Announce gratis eco sessions, honoring legacy sand strife. 2. Fraud chronicle. Evelyn and Robert quizzed kin on sign tricks. Taping legally. Laura noted profit chats. Subpoenaed accounts showed interstate wires, Fed fraud. 3. Deliver pledges. Debut Silver Lake Legacy Carnival July 4th. Trust-backed. Gratis cruises, angling classes, bio exhibits, history nods. Contrast lethal. Authentic aid versus her grab. Week-long, funds-fueled fixes, dockments, beacons, buoys, ramp to code, my skills shining. Victoria's crew archived encounters, channeling comms. Days, forwarding dues to FBI for fraud. Momentum surged. Carnival buzz. Gratis perks questioning her tolls. 17 homes volunteered. Firms eyed Eco Boost. Key insight. Protections yield grants. State calls unlocking more for basins. Trap primed. Probe rolling. Kin uniting. Gloria blind to her doom. Tuesday crushed Gloria with EPA alerts at township. Clerk chuckling over her fury. Accusing sabotage of progress. Echoing denials of basin status. Clerk retorting decades-old mandates, but she raged on. Wednesday, my pier lights tampered, rings displaced. Thursday, sham barriers ringed my coast, forged township seals, my mallet echoing as I dismantled, lumbers whiff marking her splurge on spite. Her online onslaught flooded forums, branding me blocker. Doctoring pics to villainize, threads exploding in feuds, smears personalizing. Divorce digs, flight from troubles, 3 aides quitting amid tales, divides deepening. Evelyn and Robert taped her. Rants, bolstering files. Victoria noted libel glee, her errors mounting. Friday, doorstep pitch, phone capturing her bribe. Yield control for 35% of $250 from 52 homes, $120,000 yearly, my slice $42. 000 idle. App mere pressure, withdraw on sign, confessing all, departing smug, gifting me conspiracy proof. Feds ramped. EPA spotted her marks. Victoria noting forgery felonies. FBI eyed accounts for. Interstate scams. Weekend, pier wrecked. Rails twisted, planks lifted, chains barring launch. Deputy aghast, filing charges. Cams paid. Caught Gloria yanking one, others filming obstruction. Monday, her salvo. Letter from bogus Evergreen Legal Shield, suing exclusion, soliciting $600 gifts against monopolist, cred check null. FBI unearthed $16,200 in main pot from 52, plus $9,400 hidden death. Clarifying no seizure, liability risks. Cams showed her trespassing kin lots, casing for cons. FBI took footage for interstate probe. Press blasted. Woman in access scam. Pics of fakes. Plans. Kin demanded returns. Questions flew. Wednesday, her breakdown visit. Disheveled. Confessing spiral from aid intent. Blaming me for rifts. Threatening mob ire. Sheriff called. Order filed. Talk. Luring her into exposure amid feds. Press. 250 souls. July 4th gleamed. Skies mirror lake. Grills wafting by 11 a.m. 250-plus reveling. Shrieks on swims. Tents flapping. Vols buzzing. Band swinging. Trucks booming. $18,000 local. Displays honored Grandpa Henry's guard. Interactive muscle lessons. Peer thronged. Insurance easing minds. 3 p.m. Gloria stormed in. Clipboard blazing. Gloria, this private. Your trespass. Fee theft months. Gasps. Laughs as truth hit. Her raves of buy-offs. Forges. Admitting $26,000 collections. Deputy Ellis cuffed. FBI warrant. Fraud litany. Clicks resounding over hush. Press rolled as aides fled. Kids frolicked unaware. Redirected to joy. Celebrate unity. Annual pledge. Inclusive invite. Hashtag Silver Lake Carnival trended positive. Biz boomed. Stewardship board. Elected. Workshops waitlisted. Youth camps thriving. Carnival regional hit. 30% diner spike. Tourism spotlight. Personally, purpose post-divorce. Board seat on eco. Dating Laura organic. Fund grew. Uni station. Trout up 45%. Zones cleared. Plants revived. AG used case for fraud ed. Legislature passed neighborhood safeguard law on orgs. Air shields. Fed model. Fund buys threats. County seek model. Resort pressures loom. But another tale. Grandpa Henry Wright. Lake stewards temporary. Crisis reminds community. Best revenge. Honest beauty. Gloria's greed. Fortified protections. Exposed net. Multi-state busts. Universe's jest on justice. And that wraps this saga of neighborhood tyranny turned triumph. A testament to standing firm against injustice. Honoring family bonds through rightful retribution that not only punished the wrong, but rebuilt stronger, fairer ties for all involved. Closing the chapter on deceit with a legacy of genuine. Justified if it leads to broader good. Or should forgiveness always prevail even in the face of such blatant betrayal and greed?